and welcome to Crossroads podcast. I am Maria, the co-president of the Intersectional Feminist Society at King's College London, and I'm here with Melanie.
Hi, I'm Melanie. I work in research and advocacy with women and girls that have experienced domestic abuse. So today we're going to be talking with Valerie Lolomari. She is the founder of Women of Grace that supports FGM survivors, and she also wrote a book called The Unwanted, and she does motivational talks with FGM survivors. So today we're going to be speaking about all of that amazing work that she's doing, and we hope you enjoy the episode.
Yeah, thank you so much for listening. We hope that you enjoy this episode, and if you want to support the creatives and the speakers that are being invited to talk with us at Crossroads podcast, there will be a link below for your donations. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We're ready to start. Well, hi, I'm Maria. Today we will be talking with Valerie Lolomari, who is an anti-FGM advocate, resilience coach, author, motivational speaker, chef, healthcare practitioner, and founder of Women of Grace. Women of Grace is a charity that delivers masterclasses, creates support networks, and provides one-to-one support to FGM survivors. I am here with Melanie, a KCL graduate who works as an advocate and researcher for women that have experienced domestic abuse. We will be discussing Valerie's work as an anti-FGM advocate and of Women of Grace. So are you happy to tell us a bit about your early life and where you grew up and your journey into becoming an anti-FGM advocate?
Yes, thank you, Maria, and thank you, Melanie, for having me. So I grew up in the western part of Africa. I come from Nigeria. That's where I grew up. I was born to two teenagers, so I ended up staying with my grandmother. So my grandma looked after me. She brought me up. So I did my elementary school. I did my first degree as well back home in Nigeria. Then I got married, and then I came over here. So I've been in the UK now for about 24 years.
Amazing.
And I grew up in a kind of a polygamous setting because I grew up with my grandmother. She was the first of about 6 wives. Yeah, so we had a lot of us in the same compound. We lived together in that compound with my grandfather. So my grandma, I used to go to the local shops. My grandma had a shop where she sold African fabrics, and I used to go to the shops with her. And my grandmother she was the mother I knew. So I trusted her. I loved her with every fiber I had in me. So when I was about 15, I think 15 and a half or thereabout, on one of our trips, she had said to me, we were going out to visit an auntie. And there I was. I believed her. I trusted her. Never had any idea that anything was going to go wrong. Even though I knew where I come from, they practiced the female genital mutilation. I was quite young then as well. I never ever knew that something was going to happen. So I went out with her. We went in a car. We went somewhere to visit somebody who was supposed to be an auntie. But when we got to the gate, I kind of felt a bit uncomfortable. I don't know, when you feel something is creepy, or you didn't quite understand what was going to happen. So we got there, and they opened the gate and they let us in. As soon as we got in through the gate, the gate was locked behind me by some lady, big, huge lady. So I was looking, I said to my grandma, what's going on? And she said, oh, no. It's nothing. I'll explain to you when you go in. So by the time we got into the house was shut. We had 3 real grown women in the room. And then I saw the person that the cutter, as they call them, that did it, was sitting on the floor with some pots and things. Things were prepared already. So I said to my grandma, what's going on? And then she started to explain to me, oh no, it's a thing of joy for her. It's a cultural thing. You have to do this. And all that. I tried as much as I could to fight, but I couldn't. Before I knew, I was on the floor and someone sitting on my chest, and it was a terrible experience for me, because at that point, I knew I couldn't fight anymore. So I left myself to fate. But then I was so angry inside me because I feel really rejected. I feel betrayed. I really felt betrayed at that time, thinking to myself, oh, I trusted her so much. That's why I came with her. But you could see the joy on her face because she was very happy that she was doing something good. So at that point, she didn't know that it was going to destroy my life. So that was the story of how I got caught. Because I was struggling so much as well, I got to know later on, my grandmother was saying to me, it was supposed to be a type 1 FGM, but it ended up being more or less like a type 2 because I was fighting so much. I was in so much pain, screaming and fighting. They went on to cut the other bits which they did not intend to cut. So it became worse than a type 1. So sometimes when I'm explaining, I really don't know if it was a type 1 or type 2 or in between because they made a mistake and cut something else. Yeah, so that's the story of my FGM.
Thank you so much for sharing with us. We would also like to know the work you do now and why do you think it's so important for FGM survivors?
FGM is a very important subject to me. Like I said to you, it affected every area of my life. Yeah. It did affect me in so many ways. I suffered tremendously during childbirth. I had a lot of miscarriages. I lost 7 babies. I had 7 miscarriages. So I feel it's very important to talk about it. I feel it's very necessary to raise the awareness. We need to really greatly raise the awareness of FGM because it destroys you completely. And it took me a very, very long time to be able to stand up, to speak out about my experience. It took a long time. I was just very lucky that when I got married, I was quite open. So I told my husband, so he knew what I had gone through. So he was prepared to support me and he has supported me all the way. But some people might not have that courage to share their experience. But even after telling him, and I knew that he was supporting me all along, I still couldn't share my story outside. I was feeling so ashamed because of the stigma as well. And some people sort of shove it in your face that is a cultural thing. They don't want to get involved. They feel as if it's a taboo subject. So you kind of feel very lonely and isolated. So because of what I have been through, it's a very important subject that needs to be talked about.
Yeah. Yeah, and is that kind of, do you think like the social media advocacy as well that you're doing is specifically important for that? So kind of raising awareness and that sort of thing within.
Yes, it is very important because a lot of people with lived experience as well who share the story on social media. Because I mean, in the present age and time where we are now, social media plays a huge role in our day-to-day life. So, talking about FGM on social media, a lot of people pick it up. Some people who might even be isolated can just watch social media and hear other people's story and get encouraged and want to jump on the bandwagon. And then also for information, you might have potential victims and they will watch social media and they will know where to go, where to reach out to people, and they will feel encouraged as well. So I think social media plays a huge, huge role in raising awareness about FGM.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes, definitely.
So can you tell us a bit about your journey into then setting up Women of Grace?
Like I said, because of what I've been through for so long, I couldn't really talk about it. I was ashamed, but I got to the point where I started to talk to myself, and then I said to myself, Valerie, don't be selfish. You need to go out there, share your story to help someone. I started to question myself, actually, to say, look at the way you are feeling. There's so many people who are feeling this way out there, feeling isolated. So your voice needs to be heard. I made a very conscious decision to save even one more person not to go through this really, really, really horrible, horrible practice. So I decided to come out, and I did that sometime last year when I became 50. I said to myself that was going to be my 50th birthday to myself. I birthday present to myself to come out and speak about it. So within the 6 months, I wrote a book about my journey, my whole story. and all the things that I had been through. And then I stepped up into the open, and my goodness, all just for speaking out, I started getting people coming to me. A lot of people started coming to me, started opening up and sharing their story. Some of those people I've known for years as well. And I didn't know that they had gone through some kind of gender-based violence.
Yeah.
Yes,
just kind of
I
bringing
didn't.
way to bring people together, I guess.
Honestly.
Yeah.
So things just started opening up. And so that was the birth of when women, that was the birth of Women of Grace.
Nice. And yeah, can you, I know the charity runs like some masterclasses and things like that. I just wondered if you'd like to kind of explain kind of what type of masterclasses they run and what the main aims are and those sorts of things.
Okay. So when I started Women of Grace, we started doing, I started helping the women online because then it was during the pandemic. So we're doing Zoom meetings, but now we're slowly coming into the community. And I have a WhatsApp group. I have a private WhatsApp group. Yeah. So when people are referred from either any of my social media, Facebook or Instagram or LinkedIn, they then now get put into the WhatsApp group, which is a private, safe space. For me, I wanted to create a safe space for where people will come and interact with people like them, so they know that they're not alone in their journey. So that's why I have the WhatsApp group. And then I started to carry out empowerment masterclasses. We talked about mental health, confidence, self-care. So those are the kind of masterclasses that I run we do it once every month. And then we raise awareness as well. Yes. So those are the masterclasses. For me, my priority in the charity is to empower the survivors that are suffering with psychological effects, because the end goal for us is to eradicate FGM. But we have so many ambassadors out there who are quiet because they don't want to share the story. They're not getting the support that they need. So if I empower them, absolutely. So if we work, to help them, build them back up, encourage them, and through these masterclasses, help them look up for their well-being, regain their confidence, then they'll be able to come out and share the story and also impact their own community. And thereby, we're raising a lot of awareness.
Yeah. And why would you say you think creating community is really important for FGM survivors?
It's absolutely important because number one, you're not going to feel isolated. Number two, you're going to be in a community of people who are like you, like-minded people, and then you can share your experience. You would have a safe place as well, where you can go and you open up and you speak, and then you become a force. You become a force, then you become a champion as well to spread and raise awareness to help other people. So it's very, very important. It raises your awareness. It educates you as well, because some survivors might not even know the legal bits that are involved in the FGM campaign. So building a community is a huge bonus.
Yeah, I think having that safe space where different people can talk about, just share and be able to speak with people that have had similar experiences, it can help you feel more empowered as well, I think.
And I guess helps you break through that isolation that you were mentioning before, because you feel supported by your community and it all.
Yes. And it gives you some kind of encouragement as well.
Yeah.
Because when you know that you have a safe space where you can actually be yourself and go through and talk through your experience, that is going to help even in the healing process. You're not speaking to people who are going to look at you funny and thinking, oh, I don't want to talk about the subject. Do you know what I mean? Oh, it makes me feel funny. No, you are in a place where you're just yourself. You can express yourself and, talk about what's happened to you and your FGM journey. And that opens you up to become a champion, which is my ultimate goal for you to join. Yeah.
And it's also good, I guess, if you don't have anyone, if you don't feel like you could, some people might not feel that they can talk to their immediate friends or family about these sorts of things. So it gives a space for people as well that don't feel like they can talk to, other people that they're close with about it. And
absolutely.
Yeah. Do you have a story of a time where you supported an FGM survivor to a place, that kind of place of what you said about being a champion?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Not one. I have a lot of them who have come out, and I use one typical example. This was somebody who was very shy, very withdrawn, doesn't want to say much in public. When you invite her to do things, she doesn't want to go. But when I started my FGM journey and she opened up and I knew that she is a survivor as well, and I started to counsel her, because even in the masterclasses, I also have one-to-ones as well. People have one-to-ones with me where they can actually, call me, and then we arrange a Zoom meeting and
yeah. So both. It's that same.
Absolutely. So, slowly we started working together, and now she's flying. She's flying in her community. She started even writing her book about her journey. Wow. And the last time I saw, we had a one-to-one, and the progress that I saw just made me, I was very pleased, because that's what I want to see. And there's so many more like her out there. But now she's come out of her shell. She's going to be helping so many other people in her community as well. So that's just one example of so many more of them who have come out of their closet to say to me, you know what, Valerie, I've been through this as well. I didn't know who to speak to. And this is what I've been going through in my marriage. This is how it's affected me. And I didn't know. And, it's very rewarding to see that.
Yeah, it just shows the impact of like creating that community and that can have, as well as doing those kind of masterclasses and helping somebody to then just get more confident in talking about that. I was just wondering if you wanted to talk about your hopes for the charity, like going forward, like the work you want to do within the community. I know you mentioned some things about training and stuff like that.
So, like I said, we are slowly coming into the community now. So it's not just Zoom anymore. We're going to start having face-to-face classes as well. But also I have started collaborating as well. I've got 2 or 3 other organizations locally that we're starting to collaborate. So what I'm intending to do now, is just going in, talking to the community leaders, talking to the counselors, even the church leaders in my community. That's where I'm starting from. And then I'm going to carry out surveys as well. I need to do surveys so that we can ascertain the prevalence starting from my community. It's always said for you to start from home. So I'm starting from right where I am. So I'm going to start going into secondary schools, because I know a couple of years ago, I think it was in 2019, the government made it compulsory that FGM must be taught in the secondary school age during their PSHE subjects. So that, so it's compulsory now.
That's
so
good,
now,
actually. I didn't realize
it
it's
is
now become compulsory. That's
it
good.
is compulsory, but some people are still not doing it though, because they don't understand the severity of it. So this is why I'm carrying out the surveys now. So I'm going to initially start talking and educating the teachers as well, so that they understand the signs to look out for and how to report it. And then slowly we'll move on to educating the children as well. So it's going to be an exciting time for the charity.
I think that's really important around speaking to the children as well, because I don't think I remember anyone speaking to me about FGM when I was younger, unless it's something that I think you've been directly affected by or know somebody. I think it wasn't talked about when I was much younger.
And because you don't have that knowledge, you cannot break the taboo and start talking about it, because there's just no education around it. So
precisely.
And
that's why we need to sorry, Melanie.
That's
why we need to keep raising the awareness, because in the past, FGM has been perceived as a taboo subject or a cultural thing. So they're thinking that they don't want people to know about it. But FGM is everybody's business, though. It's violence on a girl child. So everyone needs to be educated about it. It needs to be spoken about more, so that people know how to recognize the signs and help. Because you could have a neighbor who's a potential victim. But
Yeah.
if you don't know about FGM, how are you going to help the neighbor? Yeah.
And I think as well, if you're not teaching about it within school, some people could then learn about it from the wrong places or have misconceptions about it or that sort of thing, and then not actually have then have the right education on it, if that makes sense. So then
Absolutely.
yeah,
it's very important for the children as well to learn about it. So even if they come from the area where that is practiced, because you would have educated them on the dangers of it, when whoever comes to tell them, or they sense that they're going to get them to do that, they can report, they can raise an alarm quickly. But if they're not educated, they might be brainwashed by whoever is going to practice, was going to take them to practice it. So children need to be educated so they know that their bodies are not to be used as experiments. So they know that they can refuse and say, no, I don't want you to do that to me because it's not right.
Yeah, because especially as a child, you have not much conception about body autonomy and the right that you have towards your body, and gaining that autonomy, and like as a child knowing what your rights are around your body is also coming through education. Because if it's not through education, you're just not aware or have no conception of those boundaries that are important to be drawn through that education. And I was wondering if you could tell us also a bit more about your motivational talks, and like maybe a time where you think that you have seen I mean, you've already mentioned the impact of the survivor writing her own book. Is there any other story of about like a positive impact on a survivor's life through these that you've seen after these motivational talks that you offer?
Yeah. Now the motivational talks as well, I'll just tell you a little story about that. It started during the pandemic for me.
Oh, I see.
It started when I was going through my own struggles.
Yeah.
That's how it started. So I started to motivate myself. Then I started getting people coming to me, the survivors as well. And I thought to myself, you know what, Valerie, you can also impact a wider audience. And that's how I started doing the Monday motivational talks. And they have been amazing. They have been amazing. And I tell you something that was so funny. Sometimes I have a specific time where the talks go out, and you know how when you put them on a schedule, sometimes it goes a little bit later. If it's about 10-15 minutes late, I get the women sending me messages, oh, we haven't received the motivational talk today. Is it not coming? So that for me is so,
shows the impact,
it does show the impact. And it's helped them quite a lot. And because they always say to me, even when I have like one-to-ones with them, they'll refer to something, like, oh, the other day I was feeling so down. And when I listened to the motivational talk, it was as if you were speaking to me. And I got up and I got on with my day. So it's just those little differences that is making. And that's really, really, really encouraging. Because sometimes you just need, it doesn't take too much to be kind to someone. It doesn't take too much for you to say the right words to someone. And you don't know how far these things would go. So it's really impacted quite a lot of people. And I'm getting positive feedbacks daily. Yeah.
So do you think this assists women gaining independence and feeling...
Absolutely. They're getting back on their feet. They're feeling, they're regaining their self-worth back as well. It's helping them quite a lot, in things that, so I've had someone say to me, Valerie, I never knew that I had so much in me until I listened to one of your series, and it sort of joggled my mind, and I'm getting on, I'm doing my own thing, and it's just helping, because giving people that confidence back. Because at the end of the day, for me, all I want to do is just see these women get back on their feet and live their best lives. That's it. Yeah.
And could you tell us a bit about your book, The Unwanted, and what were some of the key messages you hope to get across through this book?
Okay, so The Unwanted is basically my journey. It's my journey from birth till I got married. Is my journey. And the only thing out of the book is it just shows the resilience, because I had such a traumatic upbringing. I had such a traumatic past. Even when I got After going through all of that, when I got married, then I started struggling with all the miscarriages. So at every point in my life, I was faced with real tough issues. But I was resilient. I was just resilient. I had so much hope. And that's the simple meaning of the unwanted. When you go through the book, it shows you all my struggles, but yet showed you how resilient I was, looking into the future, being hopeful that I'm going to hit my target. I'm going to live my best life. I'm going to walk in my passion. And that's what the unwanted is about.
Yeah.
Wow, it's inspirational.
And what would you say are some of your main tips for kind of resilience, I guess?
The number one thing for me is just love yourself. You have to love yourself. You need to love yourself. And you need to understand that change is inevitable. So you need to be confident and just stand by your decisions. When you make a decision, it doesn't matter if it comes out wrong. Yeah, you don't have to beat yourself. You sit down, go back and have a look at the plan. Like, how did it go wrong? What am I going to do the next time to make it better? There's no need beating yourself. We learn every single day. So you just need to love yourself, make a lot of time for yourself, make your decisions. You can decide what you want to do. It doesn't matter if it turns out good or bad. If it turns out good, oh, jolly well. If it turns out bad, you have a look at it. Why did it turn out bad? What can I do to make it better? Or do I have a plan B? This is not working. Can I go over and try my plan B? So those are my perks for being resilient.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you so much
That's okay.
for sharing with us. It's
it's been amazing to talk to you.
To have you.
It's really interesting. And it's nice to meet you over Zoom.
Same. Thank you so much for having me too.
No, thank you. Thank you. It's been really inspirational hearing.
That's okay. Take care.
Take care.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you to Valerie Lolomari for sharing with us her experience and her beautiful words around the work she's doing on anti-FGM advocacy, the amazing work she's doing. It's been a pleasure for us to have her at Crossroads podcast, and we thank the listeners as well for supporting us, for listening. We hope you've enjoyed this episode with Valerie Lolomari. There'll be some links as well that we'll attach.
Yeah, we'll attach some links below to her work if you would like to read her book or look up more about her charity and the work that they're doing. And thank you again for listening, and hope to see you in the next podcast.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.